I've been divorced now since November, and it wasn't by my choice. So that made it really, really tough. And I've been grieving it. I'm still in the grieving process. I know that. I'm not entirely sure what stage I'm in, but I know I'm not in denial. That was during the separation. And then once the divorce was final in November, I was out of the denial phase. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, was this divorce a blessing in disguise? Yes, I think about all the happy times, as many people do when they break up or lose it something or whatever. I think of all the happy times we've had. Her and the kids and me and all that kind of as a family, and going to places around here that we used to go to as a family, and now it's just me. And it's tough. And it's pretty bad when happy memories make you sad. You know. So this divorce could never be a blessing in my mind, at least at first. Like, I saw that, I think on YouTube or something nonsense like that, and I thought, what, you nuts? How is that even possible? How could this be a blessing? You know? I live in my van. I'm alone. I hardly talk to humans. I'm almost isolated. Even though there's a ton of people around me, I still feel isolated. How is this a blessing? But then, after some prayer and contemplation, I started really kind of looking at the bad things that happened in our marriage. And the things she said to me. I mean, she cheated 3 times. She told me 15 of our 20 years of marriage she didn't love me and she was just faking it. You know? I know I loved her the whole way through. But to say that to someone, and that made me wonder, why am I getting sad that I'm divorced from her? Why would I want her back? And that helped me realize maybe this divorce is a blessing. Maybe God did rescue me. She wasn't the only bad part of the marriage. Don't get me wrong. I was not, husband of the year all the time. No. But, you know, I gotta wonder that. I gotta wonder, you know, what did God rescue me from, if that's what the case is here? Or did He separate us temporarily so He can work on her and He can work on me and we can work on me and she can work on her? You know what I mean? And then hopefully, and then maybe come back together and start over. Is that possible? You know, it's not a matter of forgiveness. I forgive her. She said she forgave me. Okay. So we've forgiven each other. So we're not bitter. We're not resentful towards each other. We still talk. I still visit once a week. Her and the kids. You know. So it's not like we're not like a lot of divorces where they hate each other. But I don't know. It's hard to think of this. You know, being away from the woman I loved, my kids, who I love. You know, living in a van and being as isolated as I am. How is that a blessing? You know, how is that being rescued? You know, so it's tough. It's tough to know how to really look at something like this. You know, and it's hard not to be angry at God. Say, why? Why did you do this? What did I do so wrong? I know it wasn't the greatest husband in the world, but it wasn't the worst either. You know. But I think a lot about of incidences of when she'd flare up at me for no reason. Just pretty nasty sometimes with what she'd say to me, and of course I'd immediately flare up at her right back. You know, like, how dare you? What's wrong with you? You know, or she'd take things I said as personal attacks, or questions I'd ask as personal attacks, and just like, what is wrong with you? You know, 20 years of that. 22. We dated for 2 years before we got married. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I gotta wonder. You know, and it's tough because when you're in the position that I'm in, you wonder. I mean, I didn't cheat on her. You know, I loved her. I wasn't faking anything. And yet here I am living in the van. You know, the minivan that used to be our family vehicle. A lot of memories, man. A lot of memories. You know, every time I go to the house to visit, I look around and just a lot of memories there too. Especially when I sit with my daughter, she's almost 20, and talk with her. And just see constant reminders of what once was. You know? Where the dog is happy to see me, and the cat is, well, the cat, you know, but, you know. I just kind of look around and just remember what hey, I used to be able to come out of the room where I was working and then get a cup of coffee. Now I got to go through a whole big process just to brew my own little French press here in the van. Or I used to take 6 steps to go to the bathroom. I got to walk across the parking lot now to do that. I shower, if I'm lucky, twice a week. I'm a former soldier, so I'm used to that. But, you know, I know how to clean up and stay clean and not stinky, you know, for having been a soldier. But, you know, where I used to shower every day. Electricity. I got portable generators. Small ones, but they help me at night sometimes, or they, you know, I can work on my computer in the van with the 600 watt one, but I have to find electricity to recharge them. You know? And I got internet anytime I want because I have a device, or my phone, but again, I don't have a constant flow of electricity like I used to. You know? I used to cook food for the family sometimes, and it used to bring me joy, you know? But God knows what He's doing. And it's hard to remember that when you're going through what you're going through, what I'm going through, and it's hard to remember that God knows what He's doing. And everything He does is for our good, even when it seems bad. You know, good memories, happy memories make me sad. You know? And the bad memories of the bad times just kind of almost make me contemplative. Not bitter or resentful, but just like, hey, yeah, she used to do that. Hey, yeah, I used to have to put up with this. I don't have to do that anymore. You know? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Kind of that weird part of the road where it's like, and maybe I'm moving towards acceptance in the grieving process, like actual true acceptance. But there's a part of me, I can't explain it. I can't even tell you why I would want to go back to her. Maybe because I want to be a family again. I don't know. Or maybe because every time I see a family of 5, it hits me right in the heart. especially when the kids are young and they're just climbing out of a minivan, or just seeing them at a restaurant like we used to do, or at Barnes and Noble like we used to do. Part of me just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. And I know that a lot of people who are going through what I'm going through have the same issues. I get that. But from a Christian standpoint, it's hard to not be mad at God or frustrated with God because why am I being put through this? If He loves me so much, why is He putting me through this? Why did marriage that was supposed to be till death do us part end up in divorce when it says in Scripture God hates divorce, yet He let this divorce happen? He let my family get broken up. I never wanted my kids to be kids of divorce like she and I are. I never wanted that. But it just proves that it doesn't matter what I want. You know? And it just, yeah, I got pissed at God and I let Him know it. And then I get sad. And all these damn videos that are like, oh, God collects all your tears and la la la. Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't care. I don't want to hear that. You know? Yes, God can do. He can reconcile this marriage. Absolutely He can. He can change her heart. Yes, He can. But He hasn't so far. Okay. And I have to accept that. You know? It's hard not to give up. But I truly don't know what I'm fighting for anymore. When I was in the Army, I knew what I was fighting for. No matter how chaotic it was, no matter whatever, I knew what I was fighting for. And we were either going to be victorious and get through that, or we were going to die. Well, if we survived, well, okay, great. But there's always going to be another firefight. In this case, I have no idea what I'm fighting for. All I'm doing now is trying to survive. And that's getting me nowhere. Do I keep hoping for reconciliation? Or do I just go, well, okay, God, I guess I'm in the van till further notice. I know I'm going to be single because what woman's going to want a date to do it in his van? Let's go with none. So I guess I'm single as long as I'm in this van. And I really have no hope of getting out of this van because I only have so much money. And I have no means to get any more than what I have. And what am I even fighting for? You know? What am I praying for anymore? I have no idea. You know? I'm grateful for what I have. I tell them that. I mean, I have a safe place to sleep. I mean, yeah, it's a truck stop, but it's one that I've gotten to know the people that work here, and they kind of got to know me, and they're not going to kick me out anytime soon like they have others, because those guys screwed up, and I'm not going to make those mistakes. So I know at least I'm safe in that respect. And I'm very careful with the money, you know. I don't go spending willy-nilly. But even that might run out one day. And then where am I? You know? How long will this van last? I have no idea. I have no idea. That's what's the worst part about all this, is the uncertainty, the not knowing. What am I praying for anymore? What am I fighting for? You know? Every day I wake up, I really honestly wish I didn't. I see videos of people that die in their sleep, and I think, why can't that be me? You know? Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a wine fest. If this is a blessing, I'd sure like to be told how and in what way. You know? They say that when you're isolated, it's the best time to be alone with God and close to God and spend a lot of good time with God. But I truly don't know if I know God's voice. So I don't know if what I think is Him is really Him, or if it's Satan pretending to be Him, or if it's just me wishful thinking. I have yet to feel any kind of peace. And I don't know. I guess I don't want to turn this into a gloom fest, but the reality of it is, gang, that's where I am. And I'm just being real with you. So this is not meant to be a feel-good video or give you hope and ray of hope. It's not. It's just one person, one man, that's in a very bad and dark place. And I can't see any light. And I've looked, but I can't see it. I'm in survival mode. And I'm used to it. I've been in survival mode since I was a kid. It's a whole nother story, man. And I guess if I gotta live the rest of my life like this, struggling, lacking, and alone, so be it. I just sincerely hope that when I'm standing in front of the Almighty on Judgment Day, His final words to me is, hey, you stuck with me. Come on in, you're with me. That's what I hope to hear. Even with all my sins and all my failures and all the people I failed, including him. He's not a person, but failed him too. My one and only hope is that He says to me, you're with me. And I spend eternity with Him. Anyway. Good luck to y'all. Whatever you're going through. If you feel how I feel, don't feel bad. It's normal. But just remember, the only thing that matters is, in the end, we spend eternity with God. That's all that matters. Okay? Be blessed.